Good evening, Free Enterprise 3, and welcome to a Blue Moon round. In the waxing top 64, we have ndoto versus a bigdunka. I'm Bad Karma. I'm joined in the booth by Deathlike. Deathlike, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I see a Sid start. Oh, Mega Man Sid. This is going to be really fun because Mega Man Sid fully can pew pew.
Let Sid bunk things. I am all for it. Give Sid an Earth Hammer right out of the get-go. Come on, Xenocat. Our tracker, or restreamer Xenocat, rolled this fine seed. Our tracker Zaldi is going to be lightened up, and look at these objectives. We've got some Dark Imps and a Mom Bomb and some. Wait, these don't seem to go right.
There's plenty of bosses, but you're always regardless of what moon you're on, it's always Fabul Gauntlet and Golbez, although unless you have Martin RNG and in the Red Zone, which we are not playing, you will see those as part of the objectives. I think the most enjoyable boss of this set is King Queen Eblin, who are harmless in our free bosses, which are what our runners are looking forward to.
Yeah, 8 bosses on the docket, 7 are required. If you are new here to the Blue Moon event that has been going on, Highway to the Zemus Zone 5, we have 2 distinct tournaments going on with some minor differences. One of them being, the choice of bosses. Blue Moon, we get all the bosses. It is fantastic. We get all the characters available, although there's only 7 distinct ones.
Yeah, so, unfortunately, since Fuden as a starting character, Fu will not show up in the seed. However, everyone else can potentially show up. There will be no duplicates, so we'll see who gets picked up and who doesn't. We'll probably see maybe a quick early waterway check for a free character and some good looting. I mean, T Wildish being on, so looting will be great, and we'll definitely see we'll see definitely a trip to Troy for the free key item as demist not required.
Yep, and we are underway. We got a Rydia start, Sid Rydia. Those are 2 characters that I always shout for to let them bung things. So we'll see what we get and what other characters are going to be joining in there. Like I said, there's only going to be 7 total. All the free character spots are available. So Mysidia, Watery Pass, Dempsey, and Ordeals. All available for our runners to go to right out of the gate to build their party, and that's it. That's the only party they're going to have the entire game.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to build your party as quickly as possible. Mysidia has the best. You have 2 characters immediately there versus 1 in other areas. So sometimes, if you want to figure out what your party is early, Mysidia is the first, and our runners have decided, hey, I like to see who are my 2 characters that will one of which maybe eat it. Who knows?
There's one instance of vanilla. We got our vanilla Porum in place, white mage, and a white-haired mage.
So I think we'll probably figure out 1 or 2 will be our anger. Probably Tella will be anger. Maybe Sid might be the odd one out. Depends on who else we pick up. Sid and Tella are usually popular anchors as they can still be around. Curse ring or not, they don't gain agility fast enough to warrant too much concern. At least, assuming they don't gain too many levels.
Listen, when you've got a party like this where you have 2 of the top 3 white mages in the game, and Sid with Cure 3s and Rydia with Asura, you can't go wrong.
If potions are your white mage, I'd like to see what else would you define as black mage? One that casts weak. I guess that's all they need right in this game, right? One spell.
All they need. Or they could be young. But we did find a Cecil in the Watery Pass, so we do have a Dark Knight, and there's our hook.
So yeah, we'll definitely be visiting Ordeals because finding Cecil in Watery Pass helps a lot. We'll pretty much guarantee a Ordeals trip. Tella and Cecil are the duo for Mount Ordeals. And if you have one or the other, it's already get an get an edge, which should be helpful.
Which just showed up there. We've got a Cecil and an Edge in the seed, and ndoto found a lightsaber and thunderclaw in the bargain treasury at Troya. So when he gets those other characters, he's gonna be looking at that inventory saying, I'm gonna be pretty well off here.
I think what we're looking left is another berserker and maybe a white mage, hoping that might be on the trip to Ordeals. There. Anything? I did to see a curse ring.
You did.
That is complete value, worth visiting Dempsey and Treasure today.
Yeah, and I missed it on the first pass for bigdunka, but ndoto found the Asura, and bigdunka found Silk. Healing Rydia is online.
Well, she'll need levels. That's until you find an actual white mage. I mean, she does have the white. She does white magic, although that's all gauntlet.
Ooh.
That might be a good place to gain levels, but probably not decided. Don't have anything worthwhile. Maybe I'll come back after trip to Mount Ordeals.
Yeah, that's a spot where you want to come back after Cecil as a paladin. He's level 1.
See, I picked up Sorcerer. This is just the boss check. Since we all the free characters are where you get the bosses. Oh, hey, vanilla.
Hey, Mom Bomb is a required boss. That is interesting that bigdunka reset out of that.
I don't. At this party, I mean, the main offense would actually be Sid, and Sid doesn't. I'm not sure if picked up a decent weapon for Sid. So I think it makes sense. It might. I mean, sure you could do it, but it might be too time consuming. And hey, wow. Vanilla, even more vanilla.
That's 3 counts of vanilla here, ladies and gentlemen. Gentle persons out watching that Xenocat has rolled for us in the first 4 minutes.
Is this even vanilla? I'm starting to see less randomized and more vanilla. What happens if Antlion doesn't make its trip to the moon? I mean, what if it's actually here?
You know, if it's here, then it gives us sand ruby. That's when we're gonna have to start concerns on whether or not we are playing a no 64 run here.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some more additional looting. Poison axe, not the greatest, most accurate weapon, but since it is in the middle slot, the benefit being in the middle slot is increased accuracy for both spells and attacks. So Sid will make quite a bit of use, as it increases the accuracy of that character by 25%. So Sid will be doing the most of the work.
Found our guard and officers, which, you know, it's kind of, you know, it's like 2 bosses away, you know.
Well, it's not the Baron guards that we're looking for though. So, but hey,
yep.
We're gonna do this anyways. We need the key item. Even though we do have an early hook, I think you want the XP for your other characters, particularly Porom. You want to get her online with Berserk. Even though Tella will get Berserk, but Porom with Berserk will be a lot more useful, and at least it'll work more often than not.
Yeah, ooh, Luca Key, very nice pickup, especially by the time we go through that hook route. It is a force hook route, so our runners are not hunting for Magma Key to get underground. They are looking for that hook that's in the bedward. Luca Key has been a very popular choice just because of how quick it is to get down there, even with the warp glitch on. Wait, it's not on. Sorry, I take that back.
It's actually on. It's actually on.
Oh, it is on.
It's red has it off. That's so. Yeah. So right now we probably want the key item. If we do really want the boss, then we'll peek. But we definitely wanted with the Tella in hand, and with the Trek Up on Ordeals, warp will be online for Tella. So we will peek at some point once we get underground. Right now, looks like ndoto has decided, hey, I want all gauntlet now.
And bigdunka is finding that other berserker should he choose to keep that Yang, and he does. So we've got Edge, Cecil Young, Porum Tella for bigdunka. We'll see if ndoto goes for the same party or not. But for right now, that's it looks like what bigdunka is rolling for. Trizerker, very popular strat.
Yeah, it will take a bit for Yang to get online. Yang, as a punch mage, needs levels quite a bit as literally attack power. Oh, I see a longsword. So
yeah,
we've got Edge will definitely be at least well equipped, half well equipped to take on any boss.
Yep, and given those claws around, that does make Young the third best black mage in the game. Especially at the higher levels with elemental weaknesses and things that aren't weak to elements like Pale Dim. Still, Young is very useful for. But we've got a Lunar Sparkle. None of our required bosses are that, and that's a nope rope.
This is a good spot to have Ogo in, as punches don't hurt. Yeah, Big Wave will do its thing, but this is the least threatening, one of the least threatening spots that you can have a boss like this. So this is definitely a good thing for our runners.
Yeah, the only thing here will be for the difference, ndoto's taking this alt gauntlet a lot, sooner. Bigdunka did not do the alt gauntlet, so is not going to have the levels that ndoto's going to have when ndoto gets there. You can already see just with that Porum, the 50 HP difference between the two. So that means that ndoto's going to have access to Cure 2 to help with the wave and stuff like that. Not that it's going to be really an issue for bigdunka, but it'll definitely make it a little bit cleaner.
ndoto just found out exit doesn't work on this section. The others, where the boss is, you can't use exit. Which is the surprise. I think ndoto actually took it because Edge was around. Bigdunka did not have Edge at that time, and Edge with Flame cures a lot of. You can deal 4 of the 5 regular battles, which are less of an issue. So you just have to deal with one battle where you don't have Flame, and that makes Flame makes a lot of the early enemies pretty much easy to take care of.
Yep, and ndoto is going to be fighting that Baron Guards fight here shortly. Found a short sword somewhere else, so if he chooses to loot Mad Ordeals, we'll find that long blade that bigdunka found. So our edges will be well equipped to handle this overworld and take the team into, should our runners choose to do Eblin for levels.
The curse string is one of the valuable pickups early. Makes it easier, at least on bigdunka, to yeet Sid. It's like, why would you? Tella's going to be your anchor. You only need one anchor. You don't need 2 anchors. Sid and Tella, while both useful, you don't want both of them in the same party when you have a curse string. There are ways to gain offense. You don't need 2 of them. You don't need 2 anchors.
Exactly, and this party is ready to bonk, ready to take care of things. All we need is to find some wine somewhere, and we're probably going to have the money to do it. It's just a matter of finding which shop probably has it. This is a good setup for our runners, especially even with the loot that we have found. It really complements this team well.
This is one of the scenarios. Early game, you want Edge. You want starting Edge. Because Edge, as an early anchor for overworld bosses, tends to essentially kind of take over. It looks like, hey, is this? Oh no, it's the other noodle.
This is back-to-back noodle on the mountain.
Where does the water come from on a mountain? Like you're high up, and the water mysteriously comes from somewhere. Where's the fountain? That's what I like to know.
I'm expecting Kanatsu in the changing closet.
That's a likely story.
That is what I'm going with.
That is a likely story. That Ice 2 actually pretty dangerous, especially given this spot has a kind of relatively high spell power for an early game spot. So that's actually enough damage to take down semi-damaged Edge. So it's a one shot for anyone but Edge. So just trying to keep them upright. Where is kind of going to be a little tricky. At least it's going to slow them down a bit.
Yeah, and this would be a spot I personally would maybe burn a Star Veil on, just to get those ices reflected back. Um, the Cure 2 is nice, but with this party right now, Edge is the only one who can withstand that attack. And Big Dunka did not go to Troya, so does not have that Thunderclaw, which would be doing the extra work here that they would need.
Yeah, Thunderclaw. I mean, everyone has memes over that. It's probably one of the most useful claws. So there's a fair number of bosses where lightning weakness shows up, and Thunderclaw. While especially with even while we have Tela, but we want Thunder Elemental to take advantage of. So, and if there was a Thunderclaw, Edge would have his way with Leviathan, and it's slowing progress down.
Now we do have some party divergence, and ndoto did not take the Yang, kept the Sid. Really interesting choice. May just like the loot better for Sid than Yang. Sid can get pretty powerful, but will be slow. So it'll be interesting to see how ndoto handles the agility situation with that team.
I think I saw an Ogre Axe, and given Sid, an Ogre Axe is probably one of his top tier weapons, and by most standards it's average. But in the early game, the Ogre Axe will do quite a bit of work. So it's probably due to the loot that ndoto has decided. Hey, I like the Sid. I got to Sid now. Maybe after doing Ordeals, swap out Sid, transfer the axe to Paladin Cecil.
Yeah, and Ogre Axe Sid with an Aegis Shield, I'll take that all day long. That is going to be a Sid that is hard to bring down. But speaking of bringing it down, Big Dunka is through this Leviathan as ndoto is working on the Nope Rope. Is finished, so the dueling noodles are down. And we'll see who is providing the water for these waves here in a moment.
It's unfortunate. The Porom being down will slow her from getting Berserk, although not detrimental. But having Berserk makes Berserk life easier. You're not so much dependent on looking for Bacchus wine, as those are kind of pricey, and you don't. And while you obviously you want to spend that money on, say, hourglasses or sirens whenever the hook for in Cave Eblin.
Just a ribbon here for the party to look good as we change our Dark Knight into a Paladin. But the real winner for this was the 3 boss checks and getting Paladin Cecil, getting Tela, Lunar Sparkle. Wow, this mountain is making you earn it.
This is definitely anchored correctly. Doesn't matter when the blarg happens. When the blarg happens, blarg will blarg itself, and that's pretty safe because it only has 1,000 HP, and the spell does hold for 1,000 space damage. So inevitably, blarg will outblarg itself.
Yeah, this Ordeals was out for our runners though, from Nope Rope into Less Rope into Blarg. That's making you earn that Paladin and that Sage.
There's still more fun bosses left on the table. But this is a nice fun set of, hey, they're out of the way. Well, I mean, Blarg and Ogo being one of the top tier bosses, so that's a good thing for our runners, having them show up early in less threatening spots.
Now I know a lot of runners have been leaving Fabul on the table if they find the hook beforehand. I know I'm one of those runners too, that I tend to leave Fabul for a little bit later. What about you, Deathlike? How are you feeling about Fabul in this flag set? If you find that hook, somewhere else.
what happens to me is I forget. I fade it indefinitely because I forget it exists. My preference is to just do it early. I mean, they got the hook early, so doing it later is fine. But if you didn't know, you might as well do Fabul, because the worst case is Pan is from Fabul, then you're kind of come back. And now that depends obviously whether Pan would gate something, but that's like one of those kind of risks that you take when you fade Fabul early. Is what the worst case is Pan at Fabul, and that's the only kind of thing that makes someone fade it. And sometimes the darkness crystal is there too, so you can't. For me, it's trying not to forget that it exists.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's another thing. Our restreamer Xenocat pointing out, darkness could enable demoney. You want to go and just get your levels now. Not worry about levels the rest of the game. That is a very valid strategy. Bigdunka is making the dive in the Eblin Castle though, wanting to get that Paladin XP, and it's T Wildish looking for the big holy sword.
Yeah, with T Wildish, it makes the Eblin dive a lot more lucrative. I mean, even if you don't get the best sword, something to burr with for Cecil, there's just so much. The loot kind of becomes a lot more loot heavy. Like, yes, T Wildish makes looting anywhere pretty good, but makes something already lucrative even more lucrative.
Yeah, even just spiking an Excalibur or Crystal Sword will change this game if you do it and your opponent does it. And we continue the divergence here. And ndoto wanting some more levels, some more information, is going to go do Fabul. Did get the Luka key. Wasn't that Antline?
Yes, that was Antline.
Okay.
I think we've missed. We haven't seen the Baron in check with the two bosses.
Right.
So I mean, and especially in the boss hunt, boss density actually makes a lot more sense to go after. So going here and not doing, say, the Baron in, I get it. It's interesting. Maybe to make the next stop for bigdunka, but that's something that usually you're trying to go to that because that is the next spot to check for bosses.
Yeah, and this is, like we said, you need 7 out of 8 of these bosses to get that crystal. You want to just get through as many boss spots as you can, unless you're planning to try and chain that in with the Baron key. I already forgot who our starting boss was because, I was talking and I can't be, convinced to watch and talk at the same time, so...
It's a nice Zeus Gauntlet. Starting boss is a Mylon, some sort of Mylon. It's a purple robe. So Zeus Gauntlet is definitely worth the pickup. Though actually that monster does actually drop the Zeus Gauntlet as a super rare drop.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And just a ninja hat and Fabul, but with the curse ring, speedier characters are never a bad thing.
Yeah, sometimes in the late game, when in the cases where you don't have a proper agility anchor, like you don't have a curse ring available, Tella and Sid are not in the seed. There are times where you don't you will either decide, hey, I'll use a level 1 Rydia as the anchor. Probably ideal. I think everyone has yeeted Rydia from, but also you have say a Cecil as your anchor, and you want anything to manipulate agility. So just even if it's just to be faster than the anchor, and that helps a lot.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the curse ring too, is that you can just fix your agility in a lot of different ways. Some fights will need it, some fights won't. So it's just going to be up to our runners to make it work. Ooh, bigdunka does have a charmed Cecil though.
Hey, casted a very important spell that does absolutely nothing for you. It's good enough. You'll survive. survive it. Yeah, that's danger thing. You don't want to directly attack a Lamia. You can definitely do magic damage and be fine. But hey, that's a sword.
That is a sword. Not the sword Big Dunka was looking for, but that's a sword.
So just Avenger, usually top tier of swords. The only issue is there are certain battles where you do not want to use take advantage of the Avenger. Then sometimes you don't actually want to punch things. That's and some like say Bossman himself, Golbez. There are times where you do not want to use that. And a power shirt.
And a ninja blade too. Wow, this Eblin is really catering to our party.
Yeah. Vanilla Mom Bomb. I think it's going to be very unlikely to chew through the extra 9,000 HP or so that Mom Bomb. So we'll see the explode happen, and then probably we'll get the virus off to make all the smaller bombs die. So, or we have I think we have some J items, so it shouldn't be too long.
Yeah, I'd be willing to pop a J item unless we've got a berserk Cecil going to town here with that lightsaber back row glitch. Here comes the J item Boreas as well.
Yeah, ideally you want to use any J items, or any of the level 2 spell items, or any, as long as it's not the level 1 spells, that J item spells, so because those won't do enough damage to the bombs. It's too weak. But very likely we'll pick up a decent J item to take care of the smaller bombs, at least this early in the game.
Yep, and is through. Do not adjust your televisions, though. We are working to get Big Dunka stream back. It is a little strange looking right now, but we'll get caught up with Big Dunka here in a moment. Meanwhile, ndoto is going to be finding this Vanilla Demus.
Their screen's back. Everything is good for now.
Everything is fine, and that was a full moon, so now this edge can be back road as well.
Yeah, I think Edge's versatility with the. Did I see another Avenger? What is the seed? The seed is giving.
Right. The seed is catering to the party. Let's see if we can figure out. Oh, it was a Bahamut summon. Was in the last trap chest.
Yeah, But this seed probably will not feature Radia. Unfortunately, it's been decided that once you beat Radia early, so you're probably not going back unless you're going like full mage. I mean, it was just Radia, and who else? Who else did we not take? I'm forgetting. This is the point of where they were characters, and they stopped existing.
Pass. No, we haven't found a pass yet. I don't remember who the 7th character was.
It's fine. We'll be good. So it's a French vanilla Yang, not in the karate spot, but that's good enough. Just waiting for the right time to make Cecil swing, and it's time. And ouch! Oh nope, a little too early.
Everything's fine. The ouch will be handled. This is another example of Xenocat joining the Council of Vanilla. The second fight in Baronin being the karate fight.
Oh, it's the second fight. This dude.
First fight was Octomela.
Oh, that was a blur. How much is this? Is this even?
I'm not sure it is at this point.
But I don't think either boss are what we're looking for, so that's an unfortunate one. But that's fine for ndoto. Probably just kind of progression. So for the XP for Orm particularly. And Cecil.
Another elixir though is a really nice thing to have in your pocket, especially depending on who we run into. Big Dunka is looting, so looking for that trap chest still, trying to score that holy sword. And we'll see if ndoto starts making his way down. There's going to be a small experience difference with our parties unless ndoto goes and does Eblin Castle as well.
It will be interesting. Like right now, obviously, a Baron in it will be probably in the back of Big Dunka's mind, but ndoto's already figured out the not required Jura not too bad at the Rubicon spot, so that's fairly doable.
I think we have a rune axe somewhere. I think we have some mute arrows as well. So it'll be really interesting to see which way Big Duncan decides to go with this, or just gonna get the wall up and not worry about it. Let the Avenger hit things.
Yeah, although I think usually the safer route is to try to get a reflected veil or wall. Tella should have learned wall, so you can actually manually cast wall. You don't want to try not to get far ahead before Azure cure force herself. Though up to a certain threshold, about 16,000 HP worth of damage, she can't actually heal herself with Cure 4.
That is very true. And it does look like ndoto is going to dive here into Eblin Castle, so I'm going to be finding all the goodies that Big Dunka did with, the edge weaponry and armor, the 2 Avengers. So our parties will be equal in strength. It'll come down to the contributions of that Sid versus that Yang, it looks like, and whatever choices our runners make in the underground. Who is in...
DMs, yeah. This is okay.
This is fine.
Might be a little slow, but try to get to Tella's turn. Either Toad. Oh no, Virus. Well, that can't. My instant spell for instant death. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Forward face AI knew what was going on there, and said we're not allowing that.
Yeah. I don't remember what we got in the shops. I think, but if we had access to an hourglass, that would make this fight quite a bit more safer. It's still not too tough, but you have three guys trying to punch you, and that will make make your life a little bit more miserable, especially with this being a punchy spot.
Yep, with this being the normal King Queen Eblin spot, in typical Squaresoft fashion, they put a lot of physical attack power stats into this spot because the bosses were only going to do physical or magical attacks, so they just put the numbers in and probably copied from somewhere else.
It's probably like they didn't balance. It's like, wait, what does it matter? For a randomizer, it does. For original game, it didn't. So. What you don't know won't hurt you until it's randomized.
And it only took 15 years for the randomizer to happen? They should have seen it coming.
Well, no safety save there. Okay, well, I guess. Although I think the Avenger, just kind of ironically, if there's a Kane, we would just let Kane go off, do his thing. But since Big Dunka is using Cecil in cover strat modes, having Avenger defeats the purpose. So right now, it's difficult to use the Avenger. It's like, hey, you have an Avenger, why don't you use it? Well, this is the boss where using Avenger would be a little bit problematic and make life a little bit miserable. But then right now, I see a Deceived Berserk class going off and without using the actual Avenger weapon. So, okay, have fun.
Yep, I'm gonna just let Cecil go. I'm gonna let Yang go. Gonna let Edge, probably gonna drink some wine as well. I think Bacchus wines might have been for sale in Eblin, but I'm not sure on that.
Probably, it's certainly worth buying when you see that. So, right now, shouldn't worry too much. Cecil in the back row won't cover, but Azure probably not big enough threat, I think. Since she's a mage, some rune axes would be nice. Also some armor. So I think I saw a rune ring, and that would help any one of the characters that can equip it. So Edge or Yang can take more punches, or even have Perom, survive everything.
Yeah, and right now, Big Dunka Cecil is only taking 1 damage from that back row spot. So this is going to be a doable fight for Big Dunka. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Depending on how ndoto decides to handle it, it could go a little faster for him.
I mean, this is kind of all Berserker run. So right now, just hoping that Forum doll, she's not gonna get covered. So she better be. Well, it's on rails. Big.
Just put the controller down and go get a drink, because you're just gonna sit here and wait for Asura to eventually either start curing herself or keep doing 1 damage to Cecil. But I don't think Big Dunka has that much left.
Yeah. Given the boss's speed, will reflect the wall probably won't actually wear off. So it's actually not. It's not as scary as it could be. Like you're only doing one. If you're only seeing 1 damage being taken, you're fine, and not even worrying about reflect wearing off. Although I think I saw reflect happen again.
Yeah, but more importantly, in my humble opinion, ndoto went back for the Rydia to use the Bahamut.
Interesting. So probably we'll try to get like maybe a slingshot, probably from Eblin Cave, or the upper tower of Babel Chest. Like that's the. I mean, that means essentially require her to take it. Which makes a lot of sense. That will probably kind of make up some time, as if you see big Dunkas that will survive, but like won't be doing like quite enough damage to make up for it. We'll see how this works out in terms of time. So, but Blarg will certainly speed up, hoping to get enough MP to cast Bahamut twice. That will have big chunks of damage show up.
Yeah, and that's gonna play into ndoto's favor later too. With some of when we return to the overworld, we start clearing out some of those bosses. You anchor correctly, and you're 1 Bahamut and you're done. Whereas Big Dunka may be waiting on like an Avenger proc to go off before swinging, or an edge cast or something. The sweeping ability of Bahamut is going to be really, really advantageous if ndoto decides to continue the investment in that Rydia, which that's a Charmrod Sork robe wearing Rydia. She's going to be doing work.
Yep. That's the potential. So Sid was eventually yeeted, and makes sense. Sid ultimately doesn't. If it doesn't usually contribute endgame unless you find like an Artemis, and you don't. And I mean, well, Tella's definitely going to be the anchor, but you haven't found an Artemis bow, so kind of Sid's potential is kind of capped pretty early, unfortunately. So Sid has definitely utility, but ndoto's decided I like Blarg more.
Who doesn't like Blarg? Come on, let Rydia do things.
Oh, that looks like an objective. It's a ruby, but it could be elements. That is definitely worth the immediate. Hey, I got the Falcon, and I'm going immediately back into the tower.
Yeah, that is an objective. No matter which way you want to slice it, both elements and Rubicanta are required bosses, so that would be an immediate land and run right at the tower.
There's this possibility that might not happen, but this at that spot, it has just a lot of HP, but it's not high in spell power. It's not too punchy. So apparently, yes, we're just go take up the freebies, the free key items instead.
Do your freebies, do your objectives. That has been the long-standing slogan of success in free enterprise. Big Dunka is going to do just that. It is going to be checking the free chest and Fame Arch. That is 2 bosses that you're going to be able to see sprites for as well. So not a bad spot for Big Dunka to be going to.
I see a reference to Icebrand in chat from Larry Knight. Yes, that would be good if. Though it would be better on Ruby. Oh, hey, free defense sword. Although I think I saw a light sword earlier, so defense sword. Well, I guess there'll be something other than poison axe. So yeah, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine.
That's an upgrade for Big Duncan Cecil for sure.
then you can do the Avenger when you know that you don't need Cecil's cover. So that's a good way to swap equipment around when in battle. So it's definitely worth. I just saw a white spear being taken back because hey, it's a dart.
The dart, it's a sail. It does everything that you want it to do and more. These golems do not want Rydia to get this experience.
Yeah, so probably be delayed. Let Porum try to keep her up. Although, try to remember. I think at her initial level, life actually brings her to. Oh no, that's life glitch. Okay, I was about to say.
Yeah, that was life glitch. That was just it brings her to 10. So I think she's actually up and standing.
Yeah, but not in critical. So if the stamina decided to punch her, she's gonna take another nap. So,
but they're gonna punch themselves because got the charm proc.
Hey, the bosses we do need.
That is a very required Fey March.
Yeah, and not too shabby. Although Golbez is in the higher spell power, so Azure Spot has high spell power, so that means all hands on buying Star Veils, or there'll be and probably some maybe some status manipulations.
Yeah, and that is definitely a good spot if you've got them. Use the Star Veils. That is a spot that Golbez can take care of that big, I believe it's 28,000, 26,000 HP pool. Golbez can take care of that for you. Just got to get the spells reflected, accept the fact that maybe one, maybe two characters are going to get XP there, and accept the objective and move on.
So, bosses without the boss bit can be easily manipulated. Just need weak and one hit, and they're toast. So, and Tella gains some levels. Not too concerned until a certain point. Usually when a cat claw.
That's not terrible. And that's a spoon. Also not terrible.
It should be, worth keeping for those nasty bosses where you want to one-shot them, and then if you don't get what you want, reset out of it, and you still get your spoon back. It's a nice reset.
Always want to get your spoon back. Never leave your spoon at the table or in a boss.
It looks like pig on all characters. That would work best on all berserkers. Not so useful on Tella or Porum. As their spellcasters, you kind of want to use Piggy on the berserkers' size on your spellcasters, and so that their primary functionality is not lost.
Yeah, but it could also be bigdunka is just gonna let Golbez spell himself down, and not gonna be worried about who gets the XP. Just the fact that somebody does.
That's true. Doing this allows whole guests to fail to work. Status priorities are particularly useful, especially against Golbez, as any status that has a greater value than the status that was trying to be applied to you. So Piggy has a higher value than paralysis. So that's why it works. It's not. There's but the other thing is Berserk is something like Berserk is usually at the bottom tier rung of the stats. So if you're Pig, you can't Berserk a Piggy. You can't have a Berserk character become a Piggy, but not the other way around.
Absolutely. And while we were watching this Golbez fight, I noticed ndoto found the 4 Mad Ogres. Got a Masamune for his trouble there. So the trap chests were really leaning towards edge today. So that's us. So no holy swords to be found. Just going to be relying on the defense sword or lightsaber in this rune axe, it looks like, for Asura. But Golbez knocking himself down with those spells.
Yeah, that's spell power really high. Tella, that's fine. Tella, you don't need Tella to gain levels. Edge and Cecil are probably the best characters to gain levels. But let Golbus hit himself. That's the goal when you have Moon Veils. I mean Star Veil. Well, either Veil.
Yep, and this is good too for bigdunka. He took out these two bosses, required bosses. First trip into the Fey March, does not have to come back here. That's a good time saver to be. Ooh, and a Baron Key is always a nice find.
Yep, that's three boss checks, but we know one of them is a Mylon. So by the time you have the Baron Key, once you get to the underground, you are more likely capable of dealing with the Odin spot as well. So it's definitely a good, at least a good check in all.
Absolutely, and bigdunka is not done Baron in, so that's 2 more boss checks for bigdunka as well. We've seen them already from ndoto, but bigdunka hasn't seen those bosses, doesn't know that vanilla of karate is just waiting for him. But good way to chain all that together now the Baron Key is in hand.
Probably looks like maybe doing Dwarf Castle first. I mean, you get the dwarf healing pot. Everyone gets a sip out of it. It's good. It's some sort of drink.
Yeah, and even with all the cutscening and dancing, dwarf is still a really good spot. There's our water hag. We've already seen the Fabul gauntlet. It's even though it's a longer check, it's still 2 bosses, and bigdunka could theoretically reset now and wait till he finds the Earth Crystal and checks in on it later. But instead, just gonna knock it out. I like this play. This is a good make sure that doesn't necessarily need the levels, but it's a good 2 boss check to get it knocked out.
I mean, Water Hag is practically free. I mean, this spot will punch, but you only need 3 hits, so 3 points of damage, and that's fine. And the second spot has a very small HP pool, so which is usually pretty easy to take care of, and also get to take advantage of the warp glitch right immediately after that. So this is gearing up to be, decent check. 2 easy bosses, plus 2 key items with one through the warp glitch.
I mean, I'm telling you, that dark elf is hanging out down the bottom of that steel cave. You better just go check it.
I mean, we do have the key. We do have the key.
It's a good quick check. You can just run down, especially if you've already done the warp glitch. You can just go walk up to the door, see the bosses, reset out. Reverse vanilla here. I'm counting it, Xenocat. I'm counting it.
The French vanilla dolls in not dull spot. Favorite funny man was somewhere else in Fey March, so Flame takes care of it because there's so little HP split between that Flame is good enough.
We do have ndoto working through the Susura, not looking to be having any issues, although, that was a big Cure 4. Rydia is going to immediately knock that Cure 4 out.
I'm not sure he's out of Star Veils, but Tella has Wall, so that's probably and still be worth doing, because anytime Cure 4 is used, it resets all of it, and it just happened again. That's unfortunate. Tola needs to manually wall and hope it happens quick enough. There it is. That should be sufficient.
bigdunka found the pan from the first check in Dwarf Castle. Second check is, there's the Holy Sword. Excalibur has been found. bigdunka is like, yes, give me the step down Holy Sword. I will wield it.
Yeah, the fun fact about the warp glitch is because both the Dwarf Castle and Sealed Cave link to the same area, but since the game kind of remembers how you got here, so it goes back to the same area it came from. So if you come through Dwarf Castle, it goes back there once you walk out of the crystal room.
Yeah, and while explaining the glitch and how it works, ndoto did get through Asura, so we'll be seeing where he decides to go down the ground. Looks like bigdunka is going to be doing some sirens. He has 11 of them, has a few coffins as well. So this is going to be, we'll see how many eggs get scrambled.
I think if you do enough eggs to get Porum to Cure 4, and usually that's where ideally aim for. Because once the White Mage reaches Cure 4, you're all set for the lunar subterranean dive. It's just there. I mean, could be less. It depends. I don't. Maybe there's a certain level, but I would aim for as many sirens as it gets Porum or any White Mage to Cure 4, and I don't mean Tella, because Tella doesn't count for Cure 4 multi-targeting. We don't want that.
Single target though works every time.
That's right.
Yeah, it looks like at least 3 sirens are going to be used here. That's how many coffins bigdunka has. So just gonna go at least 3. And ndoto gonna be doing the same thing. Gonna find those 2 required bosses there in the bottom of the Fey March. I did not see if he peeked who was at the top though.
If that was peaked, it'd probably be the first thing to go immediately. That's like something that's not. Of course, that's not a given. It's not a guarantee, but it's one of those. You're already. It's kind of a convenience thing. But no, decided. But we'll find out that this is the perfect place to be, anyways. Another defense sword. It's like, how many defense swords can you get in the seed?
You need more to dart. That's what's going on. You need more defense swords to just chuck around.
Sharp loot all over the place. That's what ninjas are for.
Yeah, ndoto is looking for that warrior's chest. Not sure what he had. Oh yeah, he's got Blarg. No. Blarg will handle warriors.
Probably hoping for some burr, and we know that will be once the warp glitch is performed, then that burr will be found. So it's just a matter of time. Just has to remember to do the warp glitch once visiting dwarf. So right now, I think this is just a healing, just in case. There's still more chests. So right now, there's the thinking maybe the chest is here. There's 3 chests, so the dense chance of the monsters happens to hit on that.
And was rightfully given that. Very keen observation there. And here comes the ice too. Here comes the Blarg. Bigdunka is gonna go give a peek at the bottom of Seal Cave and see who this boss is.
It's still worth a peek, even though we've already looted the cannon. But sometimes doing this will save you time. It's still information, regardless of whether or not it's a womp or not. So it's sometimes someone fades it and you check it. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. So it can always go either way.
And just a Dragoon Spear.
For a character not in Seed, unfortunately.
Hey, it's money, it's a dart. There's ways to utilize the Dragoon Spear.
Certainly. I think we're at that point that we need to actually find where the Darkness Crystal is.
No. We're gonna skip that. We're just gonna find the pass. We're gonna go to Baron. We're gonna find 2 more bosses, because that's all we need. 2 more bosses and a pass.
Well, only 2 bosses in, and we have still many more to go. I'm still open. Darkness, maybe. Maybe it's in top of tower. Well, we know the guaranteed boss is there, so it's just a matter of time. So this is, I think for bigdunka, definitely not a boss we need. I definitely have to do top tower of Babel, because we know the boss is. We know it's a required boss there, so that's going to be the next thing to do after shopping.
And hopefully job dwarfing. But yeah, I would agree. Top of Lower Babel, definitely a spot. Bigdunka also has 5 bosses available just sitting in Baron, has the Pan available as well. I don't believe Bigdunka has done Fabul defense, so that's going to be another boss. We know that it's not one of our required ones, but that is when Bigdunka decides to do all the Pan checks and Sheila checks. That'll be another way. And ndoto just got the news that, I'm going to be spending some time here.
Looks like Dunka's decided. well, doing the Sheila 1 check without the. Oh, we have the pan.
We had the pan. That was from Dwarf Castle.
Okay, so it's like, oh wait, doing panless check. Okay, oh well, now we have the pan. So this will save some time. Deferring the pan check, not the worst thing. But when you have the pan in hand, that's a quick prop. Will definitely be routed in. So probably this, do top of tower, then to Fabul, then to maybe Baron after.
I would almost be tempted to do Sheila. That's 3 key item checks that could be the tower key. And then come back.
Key item not exactly what you want, but not the worst. Moonveil for certain bosses where, like, especially some LSC spots, or maybe even the Bahamut, the Cave Valley spot. Those punch really hard, so you can have basically a free run at punch-only bosses. That's what the Moonveil is great for.
You've not had a good time until you've had that Rubicant be required at the Messamune altar. Just saying. That Moonveil will definitely make that a little bit snazzier.
Yeah, his counterattack fire is dealt when you punch Rubicant, and that spot, that's a high magic spot, and Rubicant actually does burn. It's a funny story.
He will show you how to flame too, not just on the internet.
Well, when that happens, you hope you have an ice brand on hand, or some source of burn, or you don't want to get to that when you don't want to get to that point.
The ndoto took the heal. Maybe he couldn't decide if he wanted to do eggs first or go right back into the Fame Arch, but wanted the heal and didn't check the bosses at Dwarf. And we'll see who's been at the top of the tower here. Is this the reverse vanilla, where the master of the tower is in the bottom half?
I'm thinking elements. It's got to be elements.
You are correct. So only a quarter of leg.
Quarter leg. Good times. Actually, this is actually a good spot for reflect fire strats. I mean, you could definitely go full berserker, and that's totally fine. But you can't. Elements are kind of a fun boss, as they are extra weak to the element that they're weak against. So Tella can look like a foo, like a good foo somehow when you do reflecting, when you do magic. You typically do not try to use a level 3 elemental magic from Tella, because it's not as strong as you'd like it to be. But for elements, it's actually pretty damaging. But timing is not good enough, probably, but still good enough for Cecil to do all the work.
I am going to correct you on one thing. There are no bad foos. There are only great foos. Like Kung.
Is this even?
8. That's perfectly acceptable. In the seed that we've been going with here, you should just expect it at this point.
Yeah, although I like Keyless Tower for the fact that the key item you need, it can actually be here. It's the value of doing Keyless Tower. Sometimes the key is right there. And hey, French vanilla.
Someone send us to death.
There's so many scoops of ice cream. I don't know what to do with this. But it's a little slower because of the multi-fight sequence, but pretty low HP spot. Dark Imp's spot has the lowest HP combined, like under 600, not very high, which is a great spot to have a strong boss in, but Dr. Luke, not one of them.
Yeah, and so far, neither of our runners have tossed away their spoon to continue to enjoy these scoops of vanilla that we have been enjoying. Big Dunka is going to get an airship swap here on the way out and has a plethora of checks available to her.
Yeah, definitely want to kind of do the key items first. So that means a Fabul visit, also doing the Fabul gauntlet spot, and then probably heading into Baron. And then when you do Baron, do the visit the Baron in first. So that's all. So it could be interesting which way to go. I think Fabul probably is the better because you want the key items. You want to unlock. You want the key items to just at least maybe even get the pass.
I'm going for Sheila has the Earth Crystal, so you can just gain it all together. Zot into Baron.
Ooh, that's generous. That's a spicy routing.
That's a maximizing your flight time or minimizing your flight time. Hey, we can get underground.
Love how the seed knows how to tickle you, but guarantee that magma is usually not accessible. And actually, I forget. Is it when you have a forced hook route, which all of these seeds are going to be? Are you able to get darkness at any point early on, or is that
Yes.
like after? Okay.
No, you can get darkness. The force hook is just for underground access. It is not logical seed access. It is just underground. So you won't find a magma key up. I mean, you could find your magma key up on the moon, I believe, because it's not the logical path. I'm not sure on that.
Yeah,
Dino Cat, correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's okay. There's no way to get essentially no way to. Yeah, force hook means literally force hook, but force magma is not the same. So which is a very interesting, where you can still get the hook at any point, but but that's a reset because another boss found out was hey, not the boss they're looking for. So right now it looks like just continuing on the Baron route.
Yep, not even going to worry about the key item situation. Big Dunka is missing 3 boss location key items, not counting the Darkness Crystal, but is already in check boss mode. We know that that was just was not a key item since ndoto did it earlier, but Big Dunka is just going ahead and taking the risk that karate fight is not going to be worthwhile.
Yeah, looks like so we only have kind of 2 gating key items left: Earth Crystal and Harp. That's about
And package.
oh yeah, for the boss. But I think yeah, that although I don't know if you don't get package early, it feels like it does. Maybe it's just me, but it's worth doing it early. But it's like in the late game, it doesn't feel as tempting. It's just 1 check, and if you look at, I mean, if it's your last boss, that's great. But if it's not, it does not seem very tempting.
Yeah, it's definitely rough if that package is, gating something else. But since we don't have the Demus item and we've already found the vanilla Demus, it's not a big factor here. To me, the package is not as big of a check, especially at this point. But it is a check that, if you check, you get that package, maybe here out of Baron, it could be worth checking at this point.
I mean, yeah. I mean, routing is all about how convenient that location is relative to where you're at. So, hey, it's other Mylon. Mylon meet Mylon.
Okay, I'm counting this. That was Mylon and Friends into Mylon Z.
I mean, he came back. This is kind of vanilla-ish. Not, different location. Sequence is about the same.
No, nope. And it's an element spot. No, it's counted. Because there's a 3rd boss in the basement.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next visit. But hey, we're gonna make that Baron pot check because hey, it's good. It's always some when you're running, sometimes you do, you might want to do Odin first after doing the bygone spot, but sometimes you want the kind of safety. Like if it's not what you were looking for, then you can just skip it outright. Like this is you just peek the. It's at this point it's just peeking the boss, and whether or not that key item was worth anything is another story.
In chat, I see you. I didn't want to speak it in hopes that it happens.
Well, we're definitely not forging yet. We still have half a forge, totally not required, but would be nice. But I don't. I mean, unless Legend and Adamant falls into your lap, once you've left Underground, it's hard to find a reason to do forge at that point.
Oh, I'll forge. Supersmith is fantastic until it's scrap.
Or for a character not in this seed.
Hey, if it's a fiery hammer, you're going back for that Sid. Hey, there's a required boss.
Interesting timing. It's Ruby at a high magic spot. So Tella will take a nap soon enough.
This is our 6th boss as well. We're one boss away from go mode. We have not found our darkness crystal. We have not found our pass.
Well, there are times where we stumble onto the pass, and there are times where the pass is in a location we'll never look at. So it can happen. So, but Ruby is going to make it miserable. The benefit of using power, so they won't trigger a counterattack. That is the reason why you do it. Although that glare, you stared into the glare and lost.
Also to note too, unless this has the darkness crystal, Sheila has the goods.
Yeah, that is the only spot left on the table, at least at this point. So it's not here. It's definitely with Sheila. So we will see. It's not. It could, and it might not necessarily be darkness specifically. It could be for a key item to darkness. So it is just as well.
Yep, and it looks like another glare. Yeah, this is not a great spot for Rubkin.
Yes, Curse Ring Dragoon. I'll absorb all of Ruby. Yes. This is probably the only combination possible. Protect Ring takes up the same spot as the Cursed Ring, so you'd have to have a piece of Dragoon, and it would be free. So, and usually you'd see that on a Sid who would be an anchor at that time. Usually.
I've done a Cursed Ring adamant armor into something like this just for the absorbs. Hey, a white robe. I do like a white robe. Ought to pour 'em.
Actually, the adamant armor, the immune bit has priority over absorb, so you can't actually be healed. You'd just be taking 1 damage. So that's, I think in the other ports, like probably even the advanced port, where the absorb has the priority, but in vanilla Final Fantasy IV, that just you can't actually have that combo. It just becomes 1 damage.
He'll get healed though. That's the goal. You're not taking damage. You're not dying.
There's that.
Meanwhile, we've got ndoto cleared out Dwarf Castle. Gonna probably do the warp glitch. bigdunka still has to do this Fabul gauntlet that he's going to go through. He's going to sweep through it, but does not really have anything to sweep through it. So it's going to take bigdunka a little bit of time for each fight, get it set up, get the flame out, get the attacks out. So it is going to give ndoto some time to catch up, and bigdunka also still has that mom bomb on Hobbs with the extra 10k HP. So the runners are really close. Really, bigdunka has done Baron over ndoto. That's really the difference here, I feel like, in Tower. No, Tower's already done. Sorry, just Baron.
Yeah, that's the decision. We still have. have we seen Sheila yet? That's
We have not.
so yeah. That's right now. So we know that it's got to be from Sheila or something connected to Sheila. So that's a good sign. I think Tell has reached the point. I think Tell has reached that point where agility is at 0. I don't think it matters right now because these. I mean, although they're getting their turn pretty quickly, and I'm thinking its agility might be at 0. That might be the case.
It may not necessarily be a 0. It is an overworld fight, and this is a very weird agility fight being with the Octomammoth. May have been better to have thrown Edge in the middle here to outspeed it, but having the slow anchor here is taking a little bit more time, but I think it's negligible as well.
I think no, the monsters are using their own one. It's all gauntlet, so that does agility doesn't. It doesn't quite apply here. But yeah, okay. It's but it doesn't matter. It's just punching away. It's not. So right now, Duncan needs to just visit Fabul. Oh no, wait.
Yeah, Bomb Bob. Yep.
So at least fortunate for our runners, it just means LST peaking for the most part. I mean, probably check value cave first because then you see the boss sprite, and that tells you immediately what you have to do. So that's why cave value is good. You can peak the boss.
Our restreamer Xenocat wanting harp and pass from Sheila's 2 items.
Who doesn't love harp? Gotta play the music. And this time around, with Cecil doing bird damage, Bomb is not long for this world. There it is.
I don't want the pass to be there. I want it to be harp and adamant, and harp leads to earth, which leads to rat, which leads to darkness.
I mean, the chains are there. It can happen. That's the great thing about a randomizer.
And have one of the 2 bosses at Zot. So you are just looking for that darkness crystal.
I mean, there is the scenario where everything is laid out, and the only moon boss you have to face is whatever's at the cave value spot. I mean, that's about. We still and. Have we actually seen the Fabul Gauntlet for either? Or I think maybe ndoto has taken that fight. I don't think it was a boss that we need.
It's not. Yeah, ndoto did clear out the Fabul Gauntlet.
Should be just one hit from Cecil and call it a day. Maybe an edge.
Just a plague. Yeah, that is going to be one thing that is gonna be interesting to see as we get into the how ndoto clears out some of these spots. Ndoto has that Masamune on his edge that bigdunka doesn't. They both have the Excalibur. Ndoto has that Rydia versus the Yang, so it is going to be really interesting, especially when it comes down to timing and Z fight. Like, what is going to be the plan for runners, and how is that weaponry difference going to factor in?
I mean, from a weapon standpoint, I think what bigdunka has is probably sufficient. Oh, Sheila 1 had the goods and she has both of the shiny things. Both. Maybe we'll take a detour to Zod. That's what it is. You have two bosses worth taking a look at.
I don't know. Zot has only paid off 1 out of 4 seeds for me. Just saying, that's a true statistic. 1 out of 4 seeds.
But Zod.
It depends on if you're gonna loot the treasury. It is a T-Wildest treasury, which is nice.
I mean, bigdunka has probably more incentive, but probably not. Doesn't really need it. We'll see. Take a look. If they make what? Nope. It's complete left. Didn't even juke me. It's like nope. Not even thought. Not a thought.
ndoto might be though wanting to clear out some inventory space before doing it. Too many things. The curse of T-Wildish is you've got too many goods.
There's so much loot. What do I do with all of this?
Yeah, bigdunka not going to be distracted by this treachery, charging right up the tower. going right past the Flame Dog chest, which probably has a crystal sword in it, and just going right for these bosses.
There's no guarantee that the Flame Dog will be in its vanilla chest spot. It's just not going to happen. Not this seed.
And not in the seed that we've been dealing with an unmistakable number of vanilla occurrences.
Hey, speaking of value, not the boss we're looking for, but he'll count. He'll count.
He will count. He counts backwards.
Yeah, of all bosses, they like counting down. But we just saw Plague earlier, so it's not too far.
Yeah, I don't think we can count that in the vanilla count, though. It's just too much counting to figure out all these numbers and whether they're counting up, counting down, and then left or right.
All the runners care about is how many bosses there are left. That is it. So.
Getting the news that we already know, the Calbrenna dolls were at Dwarf 2 in their French vanilla location.
So the surprise is really what is at the Val spot. There aren't too many. I don't think there are too many tough bosses left. Now I think about it. Save the piggy and let the piggies rejoice.
Yeah, there's something pig's ears boss icon something. It's not an objective, Xenocat says. And while we're here waiting for this boss to appear, I do want to thank Xenocat, our restreamer, for rolling the seed. Xenocat rolled the seed, putting on this excellent broadcast for us to commentate. Zaldi doing all the tracking, wondering when will things not be in their vanilla location. We can't get a magma key out of this, though. We've already got it.
Someone wants in on the vanilla train. That's what it is. Oh, I'm all aboard that.
So while bigdunka is ahead, Baron, this is going to lead ndoto right into Baron. And if this is a required boss, it really helps bigdunka more. We already know it's not a required boss. I'm being silly here.
Well, there could be a key item gaining a boss. Could be harp. It would be the last thing, unless package shows up. There's always that. So may or may not be worth the time.
If it is the harp, that is reverse vanilla, and that's a rat tail. The chain continues.
I think we've reached definitely 10 km. So if we want to really grind, I guess even like say cave value trip, cave Bahamut trip. Peak the boss, and if it's not the boss, do a quick grind right then and there, which has been a popular thing to do, especially with Tella.
Yeah, and bigdunka is choosing to go start checking for bosses up on the moon. There are 6 boss spots. There are 2 in the giant. I doubt we're going to see the 2 in the giant unless that is where one of the bosses are. We'll be seeing the lunar subterrane first.
Wonder what the chances are if the last boss, at least one of the bosses looking for, is at whatever the rat tail ends up being. It's still on the table. Still probably worth checking out to see what that turns into. Actually,
here's what we need to happen: rat tail and a twin harp and a package. Both bosses behind the twin harp and the package.
Although I think they're at the number of bosses that makes it unnecessary for both of them. So probably that's unnecessary. I don't think
the runners don't want it, but we do, because they're gonna check everything else.
We're at the stage where if you don't have to do LST dive, I think that might be worth it. That's especially although the pass not being available yet makes it less likely. Having the pass is a lot of safety and comfort when all said and done.
Yeah, and that'll be the thing too, depending on what ndoto does. And oh, there, never mind. All points are now moot. We have found our 7th boss here in the Value Cave, and this is gonna be a little rough.
The punching on the second phase can be taken care of. You can just use telecast stop, call it, or even use weak and then call it a day. The spell power, not worth talking about. It's
more the status affecting is going to be, because this is a fairly speedy spot, even with proper anchoring. Weeks and status effects, random pickies going out. I mean, yeah, it's free once you get to phase 2, but we've got a weakened Cecil, we've got a pig Tella who you don't want to be a pig going into phase 2.
That's that moment. Was there a change rod? Because change rod is perfect insta reverse piggy, but Cecil going down due to being weak. It's the timing of these things. Cured using the potion on a dead Cecil. Yeah, that's bad timing. Looks like Board AI knows what it's doing.
Yep, if Cecil can get the shots off, we'll be able to quickly take down this Dark Dragon, but just has to stay up. Shouldn't be an issue. Hey, taking care of making sure that Tella doesn't get XP.
Well, I mean, it knew what needed to be done. It's Dark Elf. The story.
And with that takedown, Bigdunka is going to have 7 key items, or 7 bosses taken out. Crystal. And does Bigdunka feel ready to go? It's a Berserker strat, so doesn't have to worry about nuke. Does Porum have Cure 4? There's the Twin Harp in case we want to go get music.
The seed rolled. It had a joke. Played it out well. And Dota will have some decent time to catch up. Still has to kind of stumble in on the Cave Valley, which is probably the easy early peak, so pretty good chance that will happen. So not too far behind, but Bigdunka will require some wipes on Bigdunka's part for Ndoto to have a shot.
Yeah, it is just going to come down to how much time Bigdunka wants to spend powering the party up, getting that Porum up to a safer level. You can absolutely go into Zeromus with this. We've got White Shirt, we've got a Life Staff, I think a Protect Ring at least. So Porum's going to shrug some rolls off. Not take, probably will, unless very unluckily, will probably not take a full strength Big Bang and still live.
I did see some early tiaras, I think. So, Porum, infamous rock dodging champ. That's what she is, and I'm not changing my story. That is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I mean, she dodged rocks like, she's dodging a ball. And it looks like we're getting Warlock grind.
Different grind. I mean, there's always the pair King Ryu grind, but Warlock grind is always just as interesting. You can there are more targets to perform the life glitch with, and their greatest weakness is once they can't cast spells, they are very harmless until they're solo. They kind of punch before using weak, which they can't cast, so it's fine. It's pretty safe.
Everything's fine.
I think it's a consideration because there were I don't think there were hourglasses found or bought, so that's what makes this grind a lot safer, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, and if you're wanting to just, burn through things, trying to get as many lives off as you can with the 10 key items, it's not going to give as much as Gold Dragons, but it is a lot safer, like you said. Only needs a few more levels, I want to say, to get that Porum to Cure 4, so may not need to go beyond this.
Yeah, it does take a while for Porm to learn Cure. That doesn't seem like it. Oh, hey, item for Yang. He needs MP. Give it to Yang.
He's a punch mage. He's got to have that MP. I would be very tempted to peek the ribbon room. That's just a big chunk of XP.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, do not need the boss fight in the sense. You just need the XP, and that is, yeah, the XP there, especially with double key items, it's like it's 100,000 base, so it's like 200,000 double. It was like doubled with the key item, 10 key items. So usually a good spot if you are in dire need of a big XP injection. Just take all the XP. Just defeat this spot.
Especially because we still have King Queen Eblin on the table.
We have not seen D-Lunars. Is it vanilla? That is a good question.
Hey, vanilla D-Lunar's not bad. We are going to get a Gold Dragon fight.
Interesting. Probably needed the levels then. Probably just like, hey, see if you learn Cure 4. Okay, didn't. Okay, let's keep going. Maybe this... Probably trying to get that before getting there. Like there's no incentive to do it there. This is technically a harder fight. Although once you have hourglasses, the fight is usually under your control, and that's and having hourglasses, especially in any part of the game, and for most enemy encounter, for any regular enemy encounters with sirens, pretty safe.
Yep. Ooh, Tella getting the entangle. I think we're at a point though where that's not a big deal. Waiting on Cecil to kind of clean this fight up. We did get the weak off on that back one, so it's just going to be getting the life glitch, and Cecil's going to get the XP for us. Is it enough for this Porum? It is.
I think the do we want more looks like a yes. Let's move Cure 4 in the proper spot. Yeah, let's like interesting. So maybe get all the way to white. Maybe get some reflect strats going. You have 3 berserkers and maybe Porum to do some reflect strats. It's not a bad thing to do.
No, not at all. And it could also be, 1600 health is it's pushing it. If you it can go bad. It's just it may or may not have happened to me a number of times. Like too many to count.
Yeah. So regular from I think is it Zemus' Big Bang usually has like a spell multiplier of 8 in most instances when not nerfed. So you'd have to have something like 1600 HP. That's assuming that Z rolls low in your favor, and that's not the average. Z roll lower kind of is like on average would be like a 2000 HP. So if Porum can reach closer to 2000 HP, like Rosa gets there pretty much quicker. So, but for Porum, she gets there a bit slower. So if she learns white, she's pretty much most of the way there.
Yeah, and she's definitely at a good level now. I would expect, nope, going for more. One more.
Maybe use all the sirens. I mean, there's a Life 2 is the last thing she learns, so that's when it's like level 56. So usually Life 2 is not a spell you see used. It costs a lot of MP. Last spell to be learned by any white mage. One of the last spells to be learned by a white mage. So it's not something you see.
And there could be a number of reasons for this. Just trying to ensure that this group gets through on the first try. Doesn't have the pass, so doesn't want to make that walk. This is making the Zemus fight just as free as possible. Bigdunka could be feeling really ahead, or maybe feeling like, hey, it's close. So just wanting to make sure and ensure, because Zemus is not a free fight by any means. A number of things can go wrong. Don't watch my race from yesterday, and just and that could just be what is driving it. But it looks like we are getting the save, and Big Dunk will be making the dive soon.
Yeah, this is. I mean, definitely gonna save. The walk isn't that. It's a tad longer than the walk from the pass route. So, but it's not too much long. Not too bad. So I can see the safety from doing this. Certainly, you can't. There's nothing to make Chrome Big Bang proof other than outright levels, but you just try to hope especially with better gear, Chrome does become much tougher in that respect. So we'll see how that goes through. So that time again, right? That the time where Z flags should be surfacing, and I guess it's time to go to sleep now.
That is usually what I do. I usually let my co-commentator take over 100% as soon as chat tells me I can take a nap, and I let the co-commentator take it away from here.
Well, it's that time again. Zeromus, we love Z, but but we like to think that Z can be made pretty or different than the usual Z, because Z can't be moved. But this is a randomizer, and in a randomizer, we'd like random things to appear, and so it's that time to ask that very question: whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
And how vanilla is it going to be? There's like 6 different variations of the Zeroma sprite. If it's any of them, Zero Cat, any of them.
Is it EG? Can we have
that counts?
I want easy. It's not.
Oh. It's cute though.
But it makes me suddenly hungry though.
That is cute. It's not vanilla, but it's cute.
It has a butt. No hat, but has a butt.
And he's offering the Cheetos. That's a big plus.
There's certainly something in that bag. Something big, something explodey.
So we've got slows. We didn't find silk webs anywhere. I mean, I didn't find any silk webs anywhere, but we got slows going. The nuke going on Tella. Best case scenario. Berserk's probably going to be going out if they haven't already. Edge swinging big, 3,900. Yang adding another 2,500. Excalibur hitting for 5,000.
So so I see ndoto doing his grind. Different grind. Probably getting right into nuke level is what it's looking like. Which when you have a Radia and you want her to be useful in the final fight, you have to get her to level 50 to learn nuke. And that, you're not going to use Bahamut because Bahamut causes other sorts of things to happen with Big Bang and not in your favor typically.
No, you want that nuke on Rydia. You want that that health pool that comes with getting nuke for her. This is definitely a safe call. This is going to make clearing out the Dark Elf fight a lot quicker as well. For ndoto, but this is Big Dunka's race to lose right now, and it looks like he has his foot on the gas and not letting up.
So it looks like Porum isn't going to be using white. Letting Porum heal after Big Bang. Though I don't think this is going to be nerfed. Typically the first one is easy to nerf. The second one a little bit more complicated. At this moment, there's a lot of DPS flying. It's just damage, especially with the burr. Not too long, hoping that Porum doesn't fall from this. But at this point, you're just hoping.
He's up. I think we are past the point of any concern here. The Gear Force going to come out, top the party off, unless... never mind. That is the crackle. Boom. Big Dunka is our winner tonight. And we will see about getting him in here for an interview.
Yeah, that was pure power overwhelming berserkers. Edge with decent weapons, Cecil with Burr, and Yang with levels, which makes him powerful. We should find a word for what Yang does when he's power leveled. But Porum survived. That's all that matters.
Yeah, very well done fight, and we are joined by bigdunka. GG's.
Yo, GG's.
So how you feeling about that race overall?
I was a little concerned finding the 7th immediately on Moon because there were so many free bosses on that one. It's like you could be way behind, especially after doing the Earth. But I knew how that Z fight was going to go, so I wanted to make sure I only did it once.
Yeah, we were wondering if that was the choice for the extra sirens there with the gold dragons. If that was just wanting to ensure it was a one shot.
Yeah. Because doing the math, you're going to do between 40 and 50 per Big Bang, which means there's that window of opportunity where you can get gibbed immediately from Big Bang into rocks, and then you're running back. So just getting the extra 100 or so health was important.
Well, so you committed to getting Yang early over Sid. There was you had the option to keep Rydia, and I think there was a Bahamut in Castle Eblin. Was there any thought to switching to that, or just did you like Yang in that spot?
I like Yang obviously for the long game because he's just going to be better in the mid to long game, especially if he gets a Thunderclaw. I instantly regretted it, knowing that the fights on top of Ordeals took forever long with that group. But the end game was much better. Maybe I would have considered switching him out, but I think I'm going to take a Yang 9 times out of 10 over Sid in that scenario. Plus, then I have that poison axe is going to immediately go on Cecil, so because I didn't have a weapon for him at that point.
Yeah, you were the first one through the hook route, and as soon as it was really close. Once you hit Dwarf Castle, ndoto was working through Asura, and then you got that Excalibur, and it was like, all right, I'm just gonna put my foot on the gas and go as soon as you had the Holy Sword in your hand.
Oh yeah, it's true. The game is almost trivial at that point, especially knowing that the last few bosses, because I knew I had 2 in the bag. That I could go back and do, and then basically it's just down to Dark Elf and King and Queen, which are effectively free. Then it's at that point it's just go as fast as you can. I knew I had to do a farm still in front of me when I got on the Moon, but at that point, there wasn't a whole lot to think about at that point.
How safe did you want to be for the fight? You saw some kind of a late grind that you already had Cure for, but you were trying to probably get Purum to a safe Big Bang state. Is that
I wasn't going to do it at 15, and at 17 is just there's that chance that you're going to take one unnerfed Big Bang with the triple Zerk there, and then you're gambling a little bit with that, because you can slip Big Bang immediately into rocks without having a chance to do anything. And even though Yang was going to survive, there was a chance Cecil and Edge did not, and it just wasn't worth that risk. It was extra minute just to get that last set of levels. It wasn't worth the risk of having to potentially do that twice.
No, you have by winning this, you do move on in the tournament. How are you feeling? I don't know if who your chances are for the next opponents. I actually haven't looked, and if you do know, we don't want to spoil it yet either.
No idea.
How are you feeling about moving forward though? I know you've been playing a lot more Free Enterprise lately. So how's it feel to know that you got through this first fight, and Dodo is a very good opponent? So is you feeling confident going into the next round?
I wouldn't say confident. I know my limits, I guess. I was fortunate. This is the type of a seed that favors my type of routing, and as long as my opponent's not listening to this, I usually try to clear an entire zone before going to the next one, because I hate double backing. And this one just worked out really well because you were able to completely clear the underground in one shot. you cleared out all of the overworld in one shot, and then go to moon and you're immediately done. So I felt this one went in my favor. The ones I do pretty poorly on are the ones that are the exact opposite of this, where you're forced to go back to check one location late, and I have the habit of putting it off forever. So I like I said, I know where my limits are. So confident,
Well, that's good to know the limits, but you played really well tonight, so that's gotta hopefully hold your head high on that.
Yeah, no, I felt it went pretty well. I was second guessing Earth the moment I got Earth Crystal, but I figured I might as well just go ahead. Maybe I can save extra time on the moon digging for bosses, and yeah, obviously it didn't affect anything in the end, but yeah, that was one that I kind of wish I had that little piece back.
Well, I only have one final question for you, and did you keep track of how much vanilla was in the seed?
Oh my god, it's like 3 or 4, wasn't it? I know. Let's see, Mom Bomb. I didn't check. I don't know what else was on the moon. If there was another one, I'm trying to think what was vanilla. Mom Bomb was vanilla, and D-Mist was vanilla.
Forum was vanilla. We're actually counting Baron Castle as vanilla because it was Mylon and Friends in the Mylon and Mylon Z.
Okay, that's okay.
A couple other key items were also vanilla. Karate, I think you did.
Karate, yes, Karate was vanilla. Yep.
And D-Mist was actually vanilla as well.
Yes, yeah, I did see that one too. So I laughed at a couple of them. I was really happy to see Mom Bomb where she was, because Mom Bomb is by far my least favorite boss in this game, just because of how annoying it can be. Especially if she's buried on the moon somewhere, it's just the worst.
Hard agree on that. That's all I had. Deathlight, do you have anything else for Big Dunka?
No, I'm good. But GG's.
Yeah, no, thanks everybody. Much appreciated. Thanks for putting everything on, and I guess I'll kick back and watch the rest of this unfold.
Yep, we are getting in the ndoto doing Zemus now, so GG's again, and we'll be seeing you next week.
Great, thank you, appreciate it.
And that was Big Dunka, our first place winner tonight, who will be moving on. This is a double elimination for Highway to the Zemus Zone 5. So even with a loss tonight, ndoto is not out of it. We'll just move on to the waning bracket, and we'll continue to compete on that side of the moon.
Yeah, the double elimination. So not everyone's gonna. I mean, someone's got to lose in their first match. So doesn't mean they're completely eliminated. So they still have a chance. They just have to continue on winning the next match. Not all matchups are going to be different. So nothing is known, and I think this portal might have white. That should be the case. This will probably be hybrid reflex strats.
Yeah, there's the white. There's Star Veil's going up. Edge is gonna chuck the spoon here. It looks like, or something. Oh, that's a fast shake.
There is a lot of things to throw, so definitely not out of item, not short of it. So that shouldn't be too bad. Should help. Hoping there might be some slow being used, but doesn't quite matter.
Yeah, the Silk Web's coming out, so that will slow the Zemus down. But that felt really quick to me.
Yeah, I think that was Big Dunka head was just like berserk get the Big Bang, but didn't even get Rocks wasn't even in the cards. That's how fast that damage was. Unfortunately, not enough HP for Tela to survive. Usually requires 4 quad-digit HP for a chance for Tela to survive that, and that just didn't happen. Although Edge being down, actually, I guess this might be full reflect at this point. Oh no,
yeah,
maybe just with a little Cecil helping in there. As long as he doesn't trigger, that's fine.
Exactly. That again, that was another shake. That was really quick. So hopefully these reflect strats can get this knocked down. Oh, the nuke going on Porum's not good.
This is the moment where I think maybe worth checking. Tell us this is going too fast, and this is with a silk web. This is so. Although going with reflex strats at battle speed 1 typically can be a bit overwhelming sometimes. So that might be it. So I'm starting to think I wonder if it tell us at that 16 agility stat, which will completely influence this battle.
Well, for right now, the second best white mage in the game is pulling her weight. And just got this party healed full up. So just want to point that out.
I mean, Azura works 2/3 of the time, 100% of the time.
And in this case, that life may not be a bad thing to come through.
That was a direct nuke, I think. So that triggered. I think that triggered the. Oh no! Well.
Yeah, she's not gonna make it through. Is Rydia? Oh, yeah, no. What do we got? Oh, there's an elixir. There's some characters too. All right.
Yeah, I think there was a stack bot a little bit earlier during maybe the Eblin shopping. I don't remember. I think there's a stack of them were bought. So this should. There's no nerf on that, so that's not. Yeah. Probably should definitely check the agility stat on Tella. That might be the first thing to be done.
We'll see what happens here, if there's going to be any adjustments made. Definitely doing a little inventory rearranging just to make sure certain things can be found in case they're needed. Don't hate that at all. Making sure everything is up on top.
Yeah, like runners like having their battle items at top, so it's always good to have. Well, like sometimes when you're doing when you do a visit with an inventory boss to just reorder stuff, you can reorder stuff. It's not as easy, but when you get to do reorder stuff at any given point, like even like say when there's a crumble, spending that time to just swap out items that you want accessible at the top, like in moving all the equipment that you're probably not going to need to the bottom, can save time in the later on down the road.
Yep, and ndoto is making the walk back. So let's get your cheers in chat. Let's get ndoto through this Zemus fight. It's never feels good to have to take a wipe on Zemus, but let's get the thoughts out there. Get your emote of choice out to cheer ndoto on.
I'm staring at the piggy sprite. I'm thinking, so did not unpiggy after the Golbez fight. That's the only thing I think of. It's kind of
just
been
going.
Yes, like why skip piggy? It doesn't matter. You're healed before the fight, so it doesn't matter. But it's kind of cute.
Maybe ndoto prefers the piggy spread as an overworld spider. We don't know.
Hey, piggies can jump.
That they can. All right, round 2. Let's get our thoughts into this. Let's get ndoto through this fight. Last time it was a little unlucky, losing that edge early on. We'll see if there's any other adjustments made here.
Yeah, it's one thing if you lose a Rydia, you don't always expect Rydia to survive a Big Bang. Although she does have the highest potential of getting the most magic evade, but for when it comes to HP wise, still not as fast gaining as other characters. Besides, you expect Tella to fall, but Rydia, usually one endgame characters doesn't always fall. That's a good place where the nuke fell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Having that go into the Cecil, really helpful for this fight. Tella could take care of that probably, if he lives.
I think this is gonna be like hybrid, but mostly reflect. Try to get a Cure 4 set up for one character. Doesn't matter. At least Cure 4 of all the things it doesn't, as long as you just single targeted character. It doesn't matter how bad his spell power is, which is probably the greatest thing about that spell.
Yep, and here comes Edge with the darts to try and help get this queued up. Just probably doing some counting with the reflects and with the nukes and the whites, just making sure that enough damage is going to go out so to not tip. That's probably why we're not seeing the berserks go out either. This is really well set up by ndoto to take these reflect strats in as long as he is keeping track of the HP.
Teller survived that Big Bang. News alert. Teller survived a Big Bang.
It can happen. It can. We've seen it here. We've seen it other places. It's always startling because then it messes your turn order up.
So there are times where you expect him to fall, and then he doesn't fall, and then that's the moment. So, he should. I think he tended to just use Cure 4 on Edge the first time. This time you will get it right. So then that's all Tella has MP for this time. So Tella,
he's tired.
Yeah, he's tired. He's good for next seed. He's good for next seed.
He's like, I'm good for next seed, coach. Just let me ride the rest of the game out on the bench. Big nuke there.
Once in a while, you see. There'll be ways to kind of put Tella to bed early. So sometimes you might see that happen. I don't think right now. I'm probably just waiting for the Big Bang to make that happen. So that is definitely a choice.
He's got a virus queued up. He's still trying to help. We had that Soma drop earlier. That could have went on to. Oh wait, that was on bigdunka's side.
I think that was a drop from
It was.
No.
It was from the Warlock.
Yeah, they dropped them. I don't remember. It was like second or third rarest, but yeah, that's well. So we still have a white mage available. But that would require some luck. So we'll have to see if they're luck. Oh, this is going to go full hybrid now because I think Venger on Cecil means going full hybrid and hoping Cecil will just do it to win. And that black hole is not going to slow him down. Maybe make him deal less damage. I think that resets the auto berserk
for 1 round. Yes. So he'll get reset for 1 hit and then he'll be right back up to berserk. There's the life. Hey, that was useful. That put Porum right there because it was one of those weird agility things where she got her turn right away. So,
I mean, it's interesting. I would have hoped for a healing, but at that point, either Zero was actually 3 for 3, perfect. Did exactly what you wanted. Like either face would have given you the correct result. And
there's the rock. Who's dodging rocks today? Everybody but the ninja. Poor Ed. Give him some ninja jammies and maybe he will.
There
it is.
Yeah.
And ndoto is through the fight. Get your GGs in chat and we'll see if they want to come in for an interview.
Yeah, definitely different outcome, even though there's more levels, but certainly a different outcome from using Aradia instead of in difference from Yang. So it's definitely a different choice, and you have to choose a different route on how to approach Z based on the characters you have at the final battle.
We are joined by ndoto at this time. GG's.
Hey, thanks. Really appreciate it.
How you feeling about that seed overall?
I wish that I hadn't wiped on Ruby the one time. I feel like that set me back, and then of course wiping once on Z. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy with how I played this seed.
Yeah, you and bigdunka were all over the place. It was a whole lot of ground to cover for us in the booth, which is always great to see. You both had different parties, different ways of going about things. So one of the big things, as soon as you got that Bahamut, you beeline for Mysidia. Was that as soon as you saw that, that was like, all right, I got to go get to that Rydia.
Yeah, my kind of key metric for taking Rydia is, do I have easy access to a Leviathan? And I hadn't come across one that I had easy access to at that point. I had the Ashura and the Sylph, which I had held on to in my backpack just to, hold on to them in case I did go grab Rydia. And sure enough, yeah, I as soon as I saw that Bahamut, I was like, I gotta go grab the kid.
Yeah, that was clearly so. I mean, when first thing you see Blarg, you definitely get the summoner who can summon the Blarg, and it's certainly a definitely viable option given what you had. Was there any thought to swapping anyone else, just Sid? Was it Sid or Yang for Blarg? That's for you. I think.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I briefly considered dropping Tella, and I was like, no, there's no way I can do that. I gotta hold on to him at least for a little while longer for exit until somebody else learns it. But yeah, it was. I was already a little bit regretting letting go of Rydia the first time around, but I started finding some really good equipment. I got a charm rod and sorcerer robe, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back and grab Rydia because I think in the long run she was gonna serve DPS role much better than Sid was going to.
I would agree with that assessment. Sid has his uses, and unless you can, find both halves of the forge and get that fiery hammer, Sid he really levels out really quickly. Whereas, Rydia's always on the up and up.
Exactly.
So even with the loss, you aren't out. You just move over into the waning side of the moon. How are you feeling going forward from here? Is there going to be any changes or anything with your next match, or just going to keep playing your game and doing what you do best?
Yeah, I this week was a little bit of a whirlwind for me, so unfortunately I wasn't home enough to practice as much as I would have liked before this match, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting some additional practice seeds in before my waning moon match.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm right there with you on the waning side, so we just gotta clear all the way through the waning side. It's we're still champions. That's how I gotta look at it.
Exactly.
Well, as we are getting ready here to wrap up, that's all I really have for ndoto. Deathlike, do you have anything else?
Just one last question from me. I think you took some of the bosses early, so you took all Gauntlet early at the waterfall when you had the edge. And you took Mom Bomb spot because and in its vanilla spot there was so much vanilla. Had you considered deferring some fight? Because when you get more power early, like edge, obviously for all Gauntlet it makes sense, but maybe the Mom Bomb spot, deferring that would maybe save you a little bit of time. Any thoughts to that?
Yeah, I did consider that after the fact, and that's definitely something that was a fight that I probably could have come back to and saved a lot of time. Like you said, I was really intent on trying to take care of the bosses that I did find as soon as I found them. Since I found them, at Waterfall and Hobbs, I was kind of hoping that maybe my opponent wouldn't check those right away, and that would give me, the advantage in the long run, but that just didn't pan out.
Fair enough.
And overall, you ran a really excellent race. You barely, wiped on any fights other than the Ruby, like you said, but everything else was really well executed. So I'm looking forward to seeing you more here in the Blue Moon, and definitely good luck to you on your next match.
Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank you, and GG's once again.
Yep, GG's again, ndoto.
Well, Deathlike, that's the end of our race here, but is that going to be the end of Free Enterprise tonight?
Definitely not. There is another match. We're going to move you all onto the main Free Enterprise channel, and there are still more matches tomorrow. Just a reminder: don't spoil this race to the channel you're moving to, or to anyone. Let them find out on their own time. So always give it a 24-hour delay before revealing the results. Just keep watching, and you'll be fine.
Yep, we'll see you over on Free Enterprise. We're going to be going to Woo Bear and Klopfer in a Red Moon match. Looking forward to seeing that. Those are two very excellent runners. And like Deathlike said, we've got our first match tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. So hopefully we'll see you all there. Everybody have a great night.
See you all next seed.